Right, well, I've just got home and the phone has been going absolutely apeshit all day. Speculation, players coming in, possibly players going out, photographs, people standing in hedgeways and behind bushes and climbing up trees and trying to, peer over a fence. And it's just a normal everyday occurrence, isn't it? Jesus wept. I'll start with the photograph and all this. Isak's training alone bollocks. Well, Isak has been injured and he has been working with fitness coaches to get that fitness back, to make sure he's fully over the injury that he had towards the latter part of last season. So it's not a surprise if he's doing one-to-one individual work with a fitness coach at the training ground. He's not going on strike, so that one can be fucking chalked off the list of tin pot conspiracy theories that I've seen floating around. It could just be they've captured him at a certain point, a certain moment in the training session. And again, it's a snapshot. It's one snapshot out of, possibly an hour or two's worth of training, tactics work, fitness work, physio work, gym sessions, etc., etc., etc. Different people doing different stuff at different times. It means absolutely and utterly fuck all. I could get a picture of Mo Salah if I went down to the training ground, stood there with a coach, and I could literally doctor that photo, put it out there, put an absolute batshit crazy rumour attached to it, and no doubt it would absolutely catch fucking fire on the likes of X. It means fuck all, Sometimes it's like if you sit there on a summer's day, not like today because it's been pissing it down, but if you lay there on a summer's day and you just look up to the clouds and you'll see, one person will see one thing in a cloud. Oh, it's the shape of a tank. Oh, it's the shape of a Formula One motor car. Oh, it's a smiling face. It's a football. It's whatever. It's whatever you wanted to whatever you want to see, you will see. And that's a classic example of today's photography session by some sort of scouse loser who's took a photo halfway up a tree and, like I say, behind a fence. It's just sad. As people got literally nothing better to do with the time than this, It's literally bat-shit crazy. And moving on, the Isak thing, it's the story that just won't go away. Just been listening to the Magpie channel on the way back tonight, and he's saying much the same. It's agent-driven. It's clear to everybody and the day, he's come out and repeatedly said how happy he is with his teammates, the staff, the city, the club, everything. But if you are his agent and your job is to extract as much money out of football clubs as possible for your client and vis-a-vis yourself, because you benefit of every new contract, everything that he gets, you get a cut of that. So clearly angling, edging, either for a move away or for him to be paid the going rate. Now, I have no problem with Isak being offered the going rate. You look around the Premier League, you look at some of his competitors, some of the people who are on a sort of level pegging of him, and you look at the wages that they're on, and they are on a couple of £100,000. Even your Grealishes of the world are on several $100,000. Your Rashfords of the world are on a couple of $100,000. So there's nothing wrong with asking the going rate. If you go to any job, as myself, yourself, you go to a job, you want the going rate, and what you would also want is just a fair crack of the whip. So that's really what's being asked for. But the trouble is, because of the PSI situation, the landscape, the UEFA regulations around profit and profit and sustainability, all that, easy for me to bloody say. But yeah, the UEFA rules say that you're only allowed European clubs to send 70% of what you take in, 70% on player wages, staff wages, like general playing costs. 70% of what the club brings in, you're allowed to spend. Or if you're above that, you're going to get into trouble. You're going to get a fine. You're going to get a signing ban, etc., etc., etc. Whatever they decide could happen, may happen. And this is the worry. So we have to balance what we can give to players in the broader context of what money we've actually got available, what money comes into the club. Now, it's gone up on the consecutive years under the new ownership, it's gone up year after year after year, every single year. It's gone up, and it's unrecognisable to when PIF came into the building. Absolutely. However, we are still probably 50% of the way behind even the likes of Spurs. Now, before Ashley came in, we were on a parallel income-wise with the likes of Spurs. Now, we're still an absolute million miles away. And then you look at the rest of them. Even your Man United, who finished lower in the league last season, your Liverpools, your cartel clubs, are literally double, if not triple, what we are bringing in. So that creates some major problems. Your Liverpools of this world can't afford to give out huge wages because, again, going back to what Klopp's, no ceiling. Well, he said we had no ceiling, but we definitely have a fucking ceiling. Believe me, we have a fucking ceiling. Liverpool don't have a ceiling. They can't spend what they want because of the money that they bring in. Now, I've argued that Newcastle, I don't think we're doing as much as what we could do. If you look at training ground sponsorship, if you look at a new training ground sponsorship, if you look at St James's Park sponsorship, if you look at training gear sponsorship, there's a whole load of different things. The women team, again, you could have a separate training sponsor for them. Again, separate sponsorship for maybe when they play at Kingston Park. You could sell the women's team back to yourself and again, get another load of money in. I don't think we're exploiting every single loophole that is physically possible to literally extract every little drop of fucking piss out of the situation. I don't think we're doing that. And it is frustrating. And you're allowed to say that. Look, I am behind the new ownership. However, there are questions to be answered about why we aren't doing some of this. There are questions that need to be answered because it's creating us issues on the footballing side. The fact that we're not maximising everything to the nth degree. I've no doubt we'll have more sponsorships being announced and partnerships being announced, etc, etc, etc. I've no doubt when the figures eventually come out, they'll show again that the revenue is growing, but it's at what speed? We need it yesterday to be able to offer the wages because, look, I'm of the belief, give Isak what he bloody wants. He's a world-class striker, and we're short of strikers as it is already. But if you give him it, if you're Bruno, if you're Tonali, if you're Gordon, if you're any of the others, you're Joe Lintons, you are going to want parity. And people will say, no, because they'll all know that he's a top striker, blah, blah, blah. Look, if you're doing a job, I don't know, sweeping the streets, right? And the person who's sat next to you, sweeping the other side of the bastard street, is on 3 times what you're on, then I'm telling you now that you'd have a major chip on your shoulder. You'd be going to your boss and saying, oi, I want a bit of the action that he's got. Fair and fair alike. What's good for the goose is good for the fucking gander. So there's no doubt about it. Offering an absolutely well-deserved but crazy amount of money per week for Alexander Isak means that you've got to offer it to everybody else, and that's what, a couple $100,000 a week, £15 million a year. You look at the income that we bring in, and we just can't do that. We've still got to be financially responsible with the money that we've got, despite the fact that literally to them, to the PIF, it is an absolute pittance. It's like me finding, I don't know, the missus left a quid in there for the trolley. Oh, bravo. That's like them finding a couple of £1 billion just laying around. So it's a frustrating situation, and we've got to come to some sort of compromise. We've got to get him around the table. His head has been turned. He has been sent home. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Eddie Howe has said that he's had conversations with Isak about the situation. But I still expect him, he's got a 3-year contract left on not the best money in the world, football-wise. I mean, obviously, I'd do most things, but probably not wear Sunderland shirt, but pretty much a lot of things I'd do for that sort of amount of wages. But, careers are short, and players do talk. So it's going to be a difficult task. Can they think of a compromise where, it's stepped up for so many seasons and then it's reviewed based upon performance, based upon the club, hopefully having a couple of more Champions League things and getting more revenue in, and then we can perhaps offer more. We've got that more leeway perhaps in the future. Something like that. I hope so. The last thing I want is to lose a player like Isak. We've seen, and I've certainly seen, some absolute horseshit play up front for us over the years. You've had your Siscos, you've had your Andreas Andersons of the world, young Dal Thomason, who was asked to play up there and who couldn't hit the side, couldn't hit the banjo, could he? It was awful. It was absolutely and utterly fucking awful. I'm just trying to think of a few more now. Stefan Givash. I had his shirt back in the day when he first signed. Ah, yes. Oh, the joys, had his number on the back and everything else like that. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I hope we can come to some sort of compromise. The lads are flying out at the end of the week for this money spinning pre-season tour. Fingers crossed we'll have a new signing out on that trip as well. Lots of talk about the Brentford forward today, Wissa. Cracking lad, cracking player, plenty of goals, one of the highest goals in the league last season. He was cracking. He is turning 29 this year. They are wanting a lot of money for him. A bid has supposedly gone in for £25 million. That was knocked back straight away. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Talk that 30 to 35 might be able to do it. Some people are saying it could be anything up to 50 though. And I think, again, batshit crazy. It's too much money to be able to pay. And again, we've got a certain pot of money to be able to stretch out, and we've got to get in the centre-back, and we've got to get the centre forward, and we probably need another midfielder. So it's making sure that the pot is stretched as far as possible to cover all the angles. And I put a post up today. We need to bring in the likes of Wissa and out like that, but it's not just about having an Isak on a contract at any price, because we need the money there to be able to improve the squad, because with the games coming thick and fast this season, the cups, the two cups, we've got the European Cup as well that we're competing in, and the Premier League. It's a lot of games. We are going to pick up injuries, suspensions, loss of form, and we need the squad there. It's all right having Isak and a couple of others and maybe a great first 11, but then when one of them gets the injury, we need somebody else to come in. We need that underbelly of the team. I don't think a lot of the youngsters are ready to be able to step up. So we've got to make sure that we've got square pegs for square holes and round pegs going into round holes, etc., etc., etc. Or, as we found out in the season we were last in the Champions League, the wheels will come off and it'll be one of those seasons. And, I've seen a lot of comments about prices of the tickets and this, that and the other, and I agree. But do you want to pay all that money and then money for shirts and this shirt and that shirt and the other shirt that's coming out? There's lots of sales at the club at the moment. Do you want to pay all of that and then just see a team that's struggling through, issues we sort of brought to ourselves, If we don't plan and plan effectively for the season ahead, then we're just asking for trouble, and we can't complain when the players start to drop and results start to, go by the wayside, and we're not as competitive in the league. And this season, amongst all others, with Sunderland back, I really want us to do as well as fucking possible, beat them bastards at home and away, and finish as high up in the league as possible, and compete for one of the cups. Why not? And let's see how far we can get in the Champions League. We just have to get the business done. Now, hopefully, we'll get somebody in. Hopefully, the lad from down at Brentford before we go out at the weekend. And then we need to be working away straight away at getting other deals in. We seem to be fine with getting behind the scenes staffing, analysts and this sort of thing. If we can get in some sporting directors, some people to run the operation, that'd be great. And some actual footballers who do the football, which is at the centre and the core of this entire fucking thing. It's the most important part of the entire jigsaw piece. So hopefully Isak situation gets sorted out, so that we can have less of the Scousers in our timeline. That would be absolutely fucking lovely. We can have him on a longer contract and reward him for the fantastic work, the form, the goals, the everything that he's given us. He deserves it. Let's try and give him the best that we, physically can, and see where that takes us. Let's get some extra bodies in, and let's take it from there. Again, hopefully not too long before we get back to a little bit of football. And hopefully it's a bit better than the weekend. Because I didn't... it's a pre-season friendly game and stuff like that. And I've been getting plenty of flack off Celtic fans. We travelled up there, down. It took me 8.5, 9 hours. And we got absolutely spanked 4-0, It looked like they were running through treacle all of the game, to be honest, the lads. So let's hope that the performances are better in these upcoming games out on the tour. Fingers crossed. But hopefully, before I upload this video, nothing else changes, because it just seems to be it's constantly in a state of flux. A new bit of information will come in, somebody else will chirp in with something else, and the story, the news just jumps on so quick. But that's as it is at the moment. I'm going to go in now, gonna get a quick drink, get this uploaded, and then see what else is happening in the world of Newcastle United. Yeah, please like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.